Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And now we will proceed to our final presentation. It is by Jean Tan, who is lead specialist in character and citizenship education at the Student Development Curriculum Division of MOE. As a curriculum specialist, Jean researches students' learning needs and experiences of CCE, particularly at the pre-university level, so as to review and develop the CCE curriculum. Her interests lie in enabling more effective pedagogical and engagement approaches for students, as well as in factors that enable effective school-wide implementation of CCE. So her topic is purpose development in the CCE 2021 curriculum. Can I invite Jean to share? Thank you, Jean.
Thank you so much, Prof. Chu. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. It's wonderful to be here at the research webinar. I apologize for the sudden onset of drilling as Murphy would have it today, and I hope that it will not be too distracting for all of you. So I'm here to share about how purpose development features in the new CCE 2021 curriculum. My esteemed NIE colleagues have already described what purpose is, so I won't take too much time here. But in short, it refers to a stable and generalized intention to accomplish something that is at once meaningful to the self and of consequence to the world beyond the self. William Damon, who wrote a very seminal book on this topic, The Path to Purpose, goes on to say that a true purpose is an ultimate concern. It is the final answer to the question of why. Why am I doing this? Why does it matter? Why is it important to me and for the world beyond me? And why do I strive to accomplish this end? So a purpose is the reason behind the immediate goals and motives that drive most of our daily behavior. We've seen from the earlier presentations why purpose is important, but in some, purposefulness can be seen as a vital strength and driving force in life. It is researched by many scholars and psychologists and found to be closely connected to well-being, resilience, positive health, and shown to be an important buffer against risks. It also contributes to many aspects of character, social, and civic development in areas such as relationship building, developing a positive self-image, optimism towards the future, and so on. So how is purpose development featured in CCE 2021? This CCE 2021 frame would be familiar to many of you. It undergirds the entirety of the CCE 2021 curriculum, providing a way to encompass the different concepts, content areas, and factors contributing to CCE. You would notice that at the very center of the frame are core values and purpose. When CCE was being reviewed, the team took a study trip to the US to speak with academics, centers, and schools that managed to integrate their character and social emotional development programs quite well. And one of the programs they studied was called the Mosaic Instructional Program. And this was developed by Rutgers University's SECD Lab, or Social Emotional Character Development Lab. The consultants in the lab worked very closely with some of the schools in the New Jersey area, and they developed this mosaic curriculum approach, which centered very heavily on the development of noble purpose, and then using that to weave together aspects of virtues development and social emotional development. When asked why they framed it as such, the lab consultants Danielle Hachimoji and Maurice Elias, who are scholars in their own right and who have written about purpose as well, they explained that noble purpose is critical. It's critical to providing an overarching positive motivation to building identity and reaching goals in character and social emotional development. This insight and sharing led to the situating of noble purpose at the center of the CCE 2021 frame. So if we turn our attention back to this frame, purpose together with core values thus connects the rest of the frame together. It is the driving force, a vital part of character, social, emotional, and civic development. It guides the formation of your identity, your relationships, your choices. And if we look at other parts of the frame, you see that purpose, discovery, and development are infused into different aspects of CCE, including the 6 CCE content areas as well. Purpose is also explicitly written into the CCE 2021 syllabuses. I won't spend too much time here. You can just take a picture of these and refer to them later on. So this extract on this slide espouses the philosophical foundations for CCE, and it indicates that every child has the potential to flourish and live fulfilling lives based on a sense of purpose. The next slide describes what purpose is. This is taken from the secondary CCE 2021 syllabus. So it talks about what purpose is, why it's important, why we need to intentionally develop it among our young. And in the next slide, you see an extract from the pre-university syllabus. And when you see the descriptions here, you kind of do see the inspiration from the literature and its translation into curriculum design documents and efforts as well. But in actual concrete terms, like how are purpose development, purpose discovery infused into actual CCE learning experiences? In this section, let me take you briefly through some of these experiences which many of you are leading in schools. One of the ways that purpose development is infused explicitly into CCE is through our CCE lessons. So all students have at least an hour of CCE lessons a week. And what you see on this slide are some examples of lessons at the secondary level. The primary and the pre-university lessons are still being developed as we speak. Therefore, we're only showing the secondary ones here. So in the secondary CCE lessons, there is a unit of learning called Purposeful Pursuits. And this unit helps students to explore their aspirations, their interests, their strengths, and life experiences, and to reflect on what it means for their life goals. And you can see from this slide as well that the process of purpose development is an ongoing one through the secondary levels. And it brings the students through a continuous journey of discovery and development of their purpose. And it kind of reinforces the idea that as you gain more life experiences, they can continue to reflect on and refine that sense of purpose throughout life. Therefore, students actually revisit their purpose at relevant lessons at Sec 1, Sec 2, Sec 3, and so on. So having students figure out their purpose in life can be quite an abstract and challenging task. So we scaffold this process through activities like what you see on the slide. So for example, for the lesson on I Have a Dream, we adapted the Japanese concept of ikigai, which I know some of you must have heard of. And using this concept, we guide students to reflect on how they can serve others with their interests and skills and to find a purpose beyond their own dreams. Purpose development is also present in the unit of learning on being active citizens. So specifically, civic purpose is being developed here, i.e. the capacity to look beyond oneself and to serve a need and contribute to the betterment of others. Through this unit, students are encouraged to think about what it means to contribute meaningfully to the community, some of the needs and issues they feel strongly about, and how they can act on them with their skills and strengths. If I can draw your attention to point 3 on the activity on the left, step up to step out, students are explicitly told that we can begin to find a sense of purpose in life when we reflect on how we can serve others based on our interests and skills. So through this unit of learning, students also engage with stories and videos of real-life individuals who have stepped up to serve the needs of their community. And hopefully in doing so, they are also inspired to develop a sense of purpose and motivation that goes beyond their sense of self. There are also numerous experiences that students have beyond the classroom called student development experiences, which many of you coordinate and lead in school. And these SDEs provide rich hands-on immersive opportunities for students to explore and discover their sense of life purpose as well. The SDEs include education and career guidance experiences such as career talks and fairs, interactions with industry professionals who can share their life stories, as well as guidance from ECG counselors who prompt students to reflect on what it means to develop your sense of purpose, to develop dispositions for lifelong learning, and to pursue further educational pathways to achieve their life goals. So one such ECG counselor, Ms. Pauline Low, she once shared about her journey with us on a Sec 3 student who had approached her for advice. Sorry, if I can go back to the earlier slide. So one of the ECG counselors had a Sec 3 student approach her for advice on the Polytechnic early admissions exercise for later on in Sec 4. They used a series of scaffolded questions and strategies like the career lifeline to help the student reflect on key events in her life that she had overcome. After a while, the ECG counselor then came to know about the girl's flair for art. And the girl was also very candid in sharing how she found release in art therapy to work through some of her own personal issues. So drawing from all these experiences, conversations, and reflection, the student then began to develop an aspiration towards creating similarly meaningful experiences through art, so that she can help other people in similar predicaments. And together with the counselor, they began to shortlist courses based on a fit with her interests and personality. And in the end, the student eventually received a confirmed offer as part of the EAE and also went on to do well in the course. CCA, or co-curricular activities, also provide students with a platform to discover their interests and talents. The discovery of these interests and talents can in turn fuel lifelong pursuits, such as in sports or performing arts. I was once a teacher in charge of aesthetic programs and the journalism club CCA in my school. And it's always heartening when I see my students some years down still continue their pursuit in the arts or in writing or in photography in some way. I'm sure many of you can relate to that. So being in CCAs thus helps students approach life goals more holistically and to explore multiple pathways towards their aspirations and vocations. Purpose development also occurs through student leadership development efforts. So through formal and informal leadership opportunities, students are encouraged to make a positive difference in their class and their school community. They are given opportunities to work in teams, therefore finding a sense of community with which to work towards collective goals. And they also receive guidance and mentoring from their teachers in the process. In growing and learning through these opportunities, they find personal significance, meaning, and purpose in making a positive difference wherever they are. And finally, we also have VIA experiences. These VIA experiences nurture in students a sense of ownership and commitment to address needs beyond themselves. The design and facilitation principles behind the VIA experience are incredibly important above and beyond just planning and carrying out the activities themselves. When we thoughtfully design and facilitate the experience so that students develop compassion and empathy for people, they're empowered to make a difference with whatever they have, and they reflect on their contribution to something larger than themselves. They are also in the process of crystallizing and developing their sense of identity and purpose as a member of their community and larger society as well. So these are definitely not an exhaustive list. I'm sure many of you are similarly involved in leading, creating, designing school-based signature programs and opportunities that help your students learn about themselves, discover what is meaningful to them, grow in their communities, whether in school and beyond, and access many opportunities to act on their sense of purpose and contribute to the world around them. Through their interactions with you and other adult figures in the school community, they also benefit from your role modeling, your mentoring, which are especially important for youth to develop a sense of purpose in life. So in conclusion, purpose development is a very integral part of CCE 2021. Students are explicitly taught about purpose. They intentionally are enabled to discover their life aspirations alongside a community of peers and adult teachers like yourselves who guide and mentor them along the way. Many of you have been instrumental in your students' life journeys and have helped to point them forward in more ways than you know and more often than you think. So just to end off, coming back full circle to William Damon again, ultimately, all young people will make their own choices. No one can do this for them. But we can make it far more likely that they will be able to make good choices, which provide them with a lifelong sense of well-being. We can offer them possibilities that fire their imaginations, guidance that encourages their highest aspirations, support that helps them realize their aspirations, and a cultural climate in school that inspires rather than demoralizes them. There is no young person who cannot be uplifted by this kind of attention. The path to purpose is available to everyone, and by helping all young people to find it, we ensure a hopeful future for the entire society. Thanks so much for your kind attention. So I'll pass the time back to Suzanne. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jean. Very interesting. I think moving from this idea of purpose, right, to the idea of purposeful pursuits and how schools can actually, in very practical ways, support that, right? I think you brought up this idea of helping students think about dreams and then letting them think about, getting involved as active citizens, serving the community, and then SDEs. And then as you were talking, I was reminded of an experience, when I was teaching in schools years ago. A group of students came up to me and said they wanted to participate in this drama competition. And so I said, okay, I'll coach them. And then we didn't win the competition, but one of the girls, right, became so interested in it. Her role was to sew costumes. And she became so interested in it, she pursued a career in that, and she ended up, in New York Broadway, making costumes for some of the major productions like Lion King and Shrek and all that. And recently she shared with our PGDE students at NIE about how that one moment, that experience in secondary school changed her entire life, gave her that sense of purpose. So I really think sometimes these out of school, out of the classroom experiences are actually very powerful for our students.